Welcome everyone to our final of the year Workforce Alliance Committee. I am Adrian James. I've been co-chairing this Workforce Alliance for the last couple years, and excitingly enough, I am turning it over to two that you'll see on the screen, Amy Washam and Jordan Webster. And we've had some meetings, and they already have some great ideas to reinvigorate this alliance and moving forward, kind of building on what we've done. So not starting over, but I am super excited to turn it over to them and their vision and energy to bring in. Today, we're going to have a speaker, but I just want to say thank you for everyone being so engaged during my time doing this. And I'm going to let them take it over from here and do introductions and such.
Awesome. Thank you, Adrian. We appreciate everything that you and your previous co-chairs have done to birth this alliance and create it. So we hope we do it justice. We're really excited to do the work. We're excited to see all of you here this morning. And so before I pull up the agenda, do we want to kind of try to do a little bit of a quick who we are and who we work with across the screen? And so if once you introduce yourself, just call out the next name you see that hasn't gone, and we'll just keep it rolling, and we can make this pretty quick, and then we can dive into the agenda. So I'll shoot it over to Jordan Webster.
Hello. Well, I just wanted to echo everything Amy said. I'm really excited for this opportunity to try to boost the workforce in Platte County and to work with each of you and kind of learn a little bit about what everybody does and how we can help each other. So I really appreciate the opportunity, and I'm happy to be here. I'm Jordan Webster, and I do all of the workforce development and government affairs for the Home Builders Association of Greater Kansas City. So Pam is next.
Good morning. I am Pam Roberts with PASS, and I work for Tina and a few other businesses providing administrative support. So I'm happy to help with this meeting.
Tina, would you like to go?
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Tina Chase with Platte County Economic Development Council. The Platte County Workforce Alliance is something we implemented a couple years ago. So it's birthed out of Platte County EDC, but the goal is really to form relationships between our education partners and our businesses to really kind of put our heads together and ensure that we are providing businesses with the resources they need on workforce development. So excited to have everybody here today. I am going to pass it off to Tom Cole.
Super. Tom Cole, I'm the city administrator of Platte City, and we are thrilled to be a part of this group and just kind of see where it goes, and anything that we can do to assist and aid the future and path of this group, sign us up. We are ready to go. And with that, I will pass it over to Brian, shows up on my screen.
Hello, Brian Noller with Platte County School District, and also the point person for the Northland Workforce Development Center, Northland Workforce Development Center. Sorry, I don't know why I couldn't say that. First time I've been in one of these meetings, so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Wyatt, would you like to go next?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, so my name is Wyatt Guthrie. I'm the Area Director of Human Resources for Atrium Hospitality. I oversee the HR departments for Embassy Suites KCI, Residence Inn KCI, Homewood Suites KCI, and Tiffany Green's Golf Club. So this is my first meeting. So I'm just excited to get to learn from you all and be a part of this team. So thank you.
Dr. Crow?
Morning, I'm Ellen Crow. This is my first time attending as well. I'm the president at MCC Maple Woods campus.
Thank you. Martha?
Hi, I'm Martha Janes with Platte County Board of Services, and I've met most of you here on this team at different times and different things. We work with adults with developmental disabilities and help them lead more connected and lives into their community. And work is a big part of what we do. Employment, finding jobs for our adults. And we work with a number of organizations throughout the entire Platte County area to help ensure employment for adults with developmental disabilities. And so we have a workforce that's ready to go as soon as we find those jobs. So, and and the transportation to get them there. That's the other thing we're working on. So
that's huge. You're just going to solve the world problems today. I love it.
You know, I've got transportation, housing, and workforce on my agenda. So just a few little problems to solve.
Hey, Brett, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Brett Kisker with Make 48 and the DeBruce Foundation. I'm the Director of Education there, and Platte County resident, interested in making my community better.
Christian? What? Okay, so Christian's microphone is not working this morning. He does apologize. He is the field representative with Congressman Sam Graves' office. This is his first meeting as well. Excited to be here and thank everyone for allowing him to join. We are so happy to have you, Christian. It's good to see you, even on Zoom. Samantha?
Morning, everybody. It's Samantha Jefferson with Kansas City Area Development Council with my business baby, Sterling. We have an appointment here shortly, so he's joining us today. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Samantha. Sarah, would you like to try your mic and see how the restart happened for you? Oh, we can't hear you, Sarah.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Is it much better or about the same?
It's about the same. Maybe if you put on your teacher voice, will be good for the day. If you don't want to have to keep fussing with it.
All right, I will go I had to move to a different conference room, so let me see what else I can do.
Okay. Sophia, would you like to go next?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sophia Dukes, and I am with QPS Employment Group. We're a staffing recruiting agency here in Platte County, and we primarily work with light industrial manufacturing, but we also expand out to like salary contract roles for IT, engineering, operations, and pretty much everything across the board. And it's really exciting to be a part of this group. I'm here to help one way or another. So if you need additional workers or employees, please reach out to me. Would love to be of service.
Thank you. We had someone that dialed in on a phone. This phone number that started 913. If you would like to go, you're welcome to introduce yourself.
Yep, this is Ed Lineber with Parkville Area Chamber and EDC. Happy
Good
to be here.
morning. Good morning. And then we have someone that's logged in with maybe GERK-JI, something like that.
Good morning. My name is Jackie Gherkin. I'm actually with Sarah Sprockus Miller. We're with the Department of Economic Development, and we're with the division of Missouri OneStart.
Awesome. Thank you. And Monica?
Good morning. I'm Monica Dutro with Turner Construction. I do business development, and we're super excited to be a part of this group. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. We have Edna on next.
Good morning. I'm Edna Adelusala with Great Jobs KC, and we provide tuition-free training for adults, individuals actually age 17 and above, and healthcare, IT, manufacturing, and construction. And we also provide $50,000 scholarships to individuals of the same age group, along with adults who does not currently hold a bachelor's degree.
Thank you. Do we have Jeff on the line? Those little note taker things always puzzle me. I'm like, are they there with that or are they somewhere else? So we'll go on to Chef if you'd like to go next, sir.
Good morning, Delano Sheffield. My friends call me Chef. I'm with the Great Jobs KC Scholars. I'm on the employer engagement side. So we stand at the intersection between education provider employer, and anyone making less than $45,000 to help to fill those positions that employers are really trying to fill. Nice to meet you all this morning.
Thank you. Do we have, is it Jackie?
Yes, it's Jackie. Good morning, everybody. Jackie Rogers here. I work for Argosy Casino and I run the Human Resources Department here. So this is my first meeting. So happy to meet everyone and see what we can do on our end. Thank you.
Thank you. And our last person, KUTCHR, looks like a username.
Yes, this is Rob Cooch with the Missouri Department of Economic Development.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And I know that Allison's popping on and off on the call with the Platte County EDC. So if she gets a chance, maybe she'll be able to wave at us here in a little bit as we get started. So Jordan, would you like to kind of kick us off and just let everyone know what kind of the scope of what the Workforce Alliance and kind of the 3 subgroup goal, like the committee goals that we have kind of set up for what we want to do in 2025?
Sure. So for those of you who have not participated before, this group kind of gets together leaders in the Platte County business community as well as the educational institutions to kind of collaborate and figure out how we can explore different opportunities that we can help one another. And one of the things that we had identified and kind of put together last year was our strategic focus areas. And we have 3 of those. And within those focus areas, we have kind of a subcommittee for each one. And so and I'll go over those, but kind of what Amy and I plan to do is in our monthly meetings in 2025, a part of that meeting we will break out into those 3 subcommittees based on whatever your focus area is within your organization. And then you guys will kind of put together some initiatives and some goals and some action items for the group and for the Platte County EDC. I know for those of you who have already participated in those subcommittees, there are already conversations happening and initiatives happening, which is great. And I think most of them do have someone who is going to be a chair or co-chair. So once I go through these and you guys take notes, you can reach out to Pam or Amy or myself, and we can get you in contact with anybody who you'd like to talk about those specific focus areas with. We'd be happy to talk with you further. So the first one is college and career readiness, which basically is where business leaders will collaborate with secondary and higher education professionals to provide career exposure and opportunities with students. Some initiatives that have already happened within that is we've collected data from local schools regarding student demographics and graduate information. We plan to host a CTE Career Expo to highlight the Northland Career Center pathways, and then showcasing 4-year related degrees and professions. So college and career readiness is the first focus area. Thank you, Amy, for pulling that up. Then we have upskilling and reskilling, which is focused on continuous learning and skill enhancements for adults already in the workforce. You can see some of the initiatives that they've already upskilling programs, highlighting upskilling programs in the KC metro area, collaborating with local universities to highlight the programs that they offer, and then create a Platte County EDC leadership development course for mid-level supervisors. And then our last focus area is talent recruitment and retention, identifying workforce needs with local businesses, and helps to attract employees to the area. And you can see some initiatives that they have already identified, create marketing collateral to sell Platte County as a great place to relocate, facilitate a job fair with local partners, and host a Build Your Brand boot camp. So I believe that this is on the website. Tina, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we can also send out that document to you all as well. So you can kind of highlight what you may or may not be interested in. Obviously, we'll go through all of this in January as well. But we're really excited. It looks like we have a very diverse group here today, and I'm excited to see what potential action items and initiatives we can put forth in 2025. Does anybody have any questions? I know it's a lot of information in a very short amount of time. No? Okay.
We can also forward afterwards. So we're recording this because I feel like it's valuable information for folks that could also not join us. So we'll be sure to put that out in an email
Awesome.
But then we'll also attach that paper that kind of goes into our 3 buckets as well. So look for that to come.
Thanks, Tina.
And my techie is trying to get it shared in the chat right now. We'll see if that happens. Thank you so much, Jordan, for kind of giving us the lay of the land. So as we were working toward the 2025 and looking at some of our strategic goals and focus areas that Jordan mentioned and planning, we have reconnected, and we are really excited to announce that for the College and Career Readiness Subcommittee, Nikki Scott from Park Hill School District is going to head up that subcommittee in the coming year. So obviously, you know, if anyone else would like to co-chair, you're welcome to do so. And then on the upskilling and the reskilling, we have Martha with the Platte County Board Services and Delano Sheffield have volunteered to co-chair that committee. And so we are still seeking a co-chair for the Talent Attraction and Retention Subcommittee. But basically what we would like to do in the coming year is we would like to move the Workforce Alliance to a monthly meeting. So we would be working on that first Tuesday of the month at 8 a.m. We will continue to meet as a collective, and then within that space, whatever fills your heart, whatever strategic focus pairs directly with your work, we encourage you to sit in the small groups and work with those other committee members. And we would love to see some of these initiatives go forth. Obviously, we always love new ideas as well. So just because we have these down on paper, this is not limiting us. This is just giving us a great foundation that Dr. James and her previous co-chairs have established for us in moving forward. So starting in February, we'll be back in person. The Platte County team will push out the specific address of that information, and we'll be here in the Northland. And we would love for you all to attend, bring a colleague, or if you have anybody else you would like for us to invite, let our team know. Jordan, myself, or any of the Platte EDC team, we'd be happy to connect them because we want to see if we can solve some problems and help some folks in the workforce area. So with that, we do have a great special guest today. So Sarah, would you like to try your mic real quick again?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that is really good, actually. That one's a really good one. Okay, so we'll kind of we'll go ahead and work towards our presentation. As Tina mentioned earlier, this presentation is being recorded, so we'll make this available at a later time for everyone to have. And I just wanted to introduce all of you to Sarah Brackus Miller. She has just started with the Department of Economic Development in the Missouri OneStart division back this last August, but she does have 15 years of state government experience from different state agencies under her belt, as well as 6 years of classroom instruction experience. And so Sarah loves to learn, travel, and scrapbook in her free time. She's excited and passionate about the new programs that are happening that started this year in July and is ready to show them to us today. And so we do hope to make this shareable later. So if you see anything cool that you would like to send to a friend, we'll have those recordings made available. So we will let Sarah take over from here.
Awesome. Thank you, Amy, and thank you everyone for staying with me through the technical difficulties. My supervisor was trying to be nice and saying, instead of me being lonely in this big room, and put me in a smaller room, but apparently I like big rooms. The technology likes big rooms, so I'm here now. So thank you so much for being so patient, and I'm excited to be here. So thank you for inviting me, and I am excited to share the 2 programs that we have, and I'm going to share my screen with you. Hopefully this works. Do you see my PowerPoint, or do you see a black? There we go. Do you see my PowerPoint?
We see the edit side of your PowerPoint.
Okay, so let me see if I could get it to play from beginning.
There you go, presentation view.
Good deal. Alrighty. So like Amy mentioned, my name is Sarah Brackus Miller, and I am from the OneStart division, which is in the Missouri Economic Development Department. And this is a great agency to build businesses, but also a business is great, but you have to have workers. You have to have people who want to produce what the business wants to. You can have upper management all you want, but it really depends on the workers and people who are under them and come motivated and want to do work. And that's what we are focusing here. We are going to be helping employers gain the employees that they want to have in their businesses. And when we talk about that, we have different options through the Missouri OneStart unit, but we're going to focus on upskilling. And we go to what I want to talk to you first is our website is MissouriOneStart.com. I love websites. I think that tells a lot about a business, about their website. Ours, I feel, is user-friendly. If you want to learn something, literally it has 3 options. If you want to learn about recruitment, you go to recruitment. If you want to learn about training, you go to training. And if you want to go to upskill about the employees, then you click on upskill. And that's where we will talk about our 2 programs today, which here says the Intern and Apprentice Recruitment Act, which we shortened it to go to IRA, and then the Credential Training Program, not to get confused with Customize. So we do say CTP, but again, Customize is a different, it's a different program. The Credential Training Program I'm going to talk about first is a grant reimbursement program. So again, these 2 are underneath the upskilling part of the Missouri OneStart. When Amy did mention that they did start in July, yes, that is super great. They were actually thought about in 2023, but there was no funding behind them. So in 2024, when the legislators ended their session, they decided to put funding behind both of them, which we were super excited because that's how we know that they're actually good to go and they're off the table and not just a piece of paper. Whoops, keep going. So both programs, again, they received funding in January 1 of 2024. The Intern and Apprentice received $1 million. And again, yes, that application period has closed. However, it's going to be opened again in July of the next fiscal year because it is a tax credit and that has already been a go. However, the Credential Training Program Fund, we have appropriated $3 million. So that's how much we have to spend. But again, we have to be good stewards of that money. So we're just not throwing it away we're not just giving it out and we're just not throwing it away. We are giving it to people who really do want to gain these skills. And then the employers are believing in their employees and these employees want to do something for the business. So this is a great amount of money. We would love to spend it all because right behind it is a $6 million. But if you know anything about government or legislators, if you do not spend the first amount, then you're probably not going to get the second amount. So as I said, we want to get rid of it, but we have to be good stewards of that money. And we want to make sure that these employers are picking people who are wanting to gain something for them, but also for the business. They want to gain something for the business. And we will talk more about that in just a minute. When I mentioned the 2 programs, we have the application process through Submittable. That is where we have housed the application, but also where we communicate with each other. They will go, the emails and the messages will go to your inbox, but it will start in Submittable. And this is an online program. Yes, again, you're going to have to think of a password. I know you're probably thinking another password. I know, and passwords, let me tell you, it has nothing to do with age to remember them. I had to get an app on my phone to remember all of my passwords. Memory has no age connected to it. I promise you that. There's just so many, but again, I promise you it's not that hard. Submittable is very user-friendly and the application process is, again, user-friendly, and I'll show you that here in a minute. And you're probably thinking, well, yeah, because you work with it. I hear you, but I just started in August and I have learned Submittable. It's not that bad, and I will show you here in a minute to prove that you can do it. When you sign up for Submittable, this is the screen that you will get. Remember, I mentioned the password. And then when you sign in, you will use your email and then that password. We're going to begin talking about the credential training program. And I do not care, you're not interrupting me. If you have a question, just go ahead and speak and say, I have a question, I'll stop. There's no, we're all professionals here, we're all adults. Just go ahead and ask. It's no big deal. You don't have to wait until the end. If you want to, that's fine. But again, if you have a question as I'm talking about it, please go ahead and ask, because I would hate for you to forget, because if you're like me, I have a question and then I forget if I don't ask. So the purpose of the credential training program literally is upskilling the workers for the benefit of the employer. And that is very important to remember, that yes, we are wanting a credential for these employees, but that credential needs to somehow help that employer have better procedures, get work done quicker, maybe safer. And again, this competitive grant credential thing is a short term. It's within 12 months. So it's not something that is going to take 2 years. I know some people were thinking in the past that, well, I have this person, but they really don't have a lot of patience. Well, then I would fit in that category. I don't have a lot of patience, but that's okay, because you could get a credential within those 12 months and they're good to go. Some credentials can simply be a CPR credential, and to save a life, maybe on the floor of your operations. And that is a 1 day or maybe a 2-day course. Good. Perfect. There you go. So then after those 2 days are done, you send in your paperwork and then you will get your reimbursement quicker. So again, it doesn't have to be the full 12 months. It can, but up to 12 months, you have to complete that short-term credential. The thing I want to reiterate, and I will say this again and again, and I will sound like a broken record, and I do apologize in advance, but the employee and the employer must be a Missouri resident and a Missouri employer. So I know that you're on the line close to the border, but again, it has to be a Missouri employer. I know that Kansas probably wants some of this. If they want to go to their legislators and try to get this passed, by all means, we can help them to do that. But again, it's a Missouri-based grant to get the credential. The employer
Sarah, just real quick for clarification question. Larger organizations that have multiple locations across multiple states, if they have a physical address that's not their headquarters with physical address in Missouri, would they qualify for this program?
Yes, they would. Yep. Good question, Amy. Thank you. Yes. The employers have up to $30,000 that they can be reimbursed up to training their employees. And each employee has up to $2,000 to use. So if one credential they wanted to get was $1,000, and then they got that credential after 3 months, and then they wanted to go for another one that costs $500. Okay, great. They have spent the $1,500 of their $2,000. But again, the employer can only get up to $30,000 total in the fiscal year. Now, when I mentioned that it started in July, the application actually started in October because we simply were not ready. So October was the first application period, and we have 2 more application periods. So an employer can apply the next application period and then the last application period, but they cannot go over that $30,000, nor can the employee go over the $2,000. One thing I wanted to talk about is when the employee gains the credential and when the employer chooses to pick an employee to get a credential, that credential has to come from a relevant authority. It cannot just be a trainer inside your corporation or business. We would love to have that. We know that they're capable and they have lots of knowledge, but unfortunately, that's not how this program is set up. It needs to be from a relevant authority. I have listed when I talked about the CPR certification, it needs to be through the Red Cross. Now, we understand that Red Cross people or Red Cross organization has instructors, but those instructors were certified by the Red Cross. That is fine. That instructor technically isn't giving you the CPR certification. The Red Cross is, because your little card will have the Red Cross on it. The American Welding Academy would be the relevant authority if you got a welding certificate and went through their program. If you got a computer certificate, meaning A+ or C++ or any other computer certifications, then it came from Microsoft. Microsoft would be the relevant authority. That is very important to keep that in mind, that you just cannot go to a training and expect to get a credential. That's not how it works. Also, a certificate of completion is not a certificate, a credential. It is a certificate, but it does not count as a credential. If you get a credential, then yes, you're good, meaning that you have an extra skill, you have gained knowledge. You're going to go back to your employer and have them change their safety policy, have them change a procedure, have them do something different. You know, you're gaining something extra. That's what the credential program is all about. And that's very important to remember, because there's lots of certificate of completion programs out there. There's tons, but we really want you to focus on a credential.
So we have, in our industry, we have direct support professionals that work directly with the adults that we support, and we provide them 150 hours of training required through the required from the Department of Mental Health through Missouri. They're certified in CPR, they're certified in Med-Aid, they're certified in different. Would this be a program with our apprentice program that we could apply for?
That's a good question, because who is the relevant authority? Is it the Missouri Department of Mental Health?
The training is through the Relias training platform for the DSP certification, but they do receive CPR certification, which comes from Red Cross. They receive Med-Aid training, which comes from a licensed medical professional, and is granted, and the licensing is granted by the state. And then the other training is provided through Relias platform, and they have levels. They have DSP 1, 2, and 3 that they go through. Each of them requires 50 hours of training within those levels, and that is overseen by Missouri DMH, and then but the training is given through online through the Relias platform, and that's where they receive the certifications that they're completing their training.
Okay, so Relias their name is on that certificate?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe, and I don't want to, this is not concrete. The best thing is to send me that website of Relias to let me look to see, because we look for accreditations, we look for their boards, we look for commissions, because if they have a board and commission in it and they approve of that program, then more than likely that's a relevant authority.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
But yeah, the Red Cross, the first two things that you mentioned, yes, I've heard of those. So, and again, it's not all about me. Like you get me as your, person to ask. You don't get a robot or a chat box. You get a real person, but I am not the final reviewer. So again, because I don't know, it does not mean anything. I've learned a lot through just being here since August and through the first application process. But my manager, she is amazing. She knows a lot, and so does our legal department. We've had to ask legal for a few things, and so they are the final reviewers. So I would look at it first, and then we have a level of reviewers. But that's a very good question, and I would just need to look at that website. So thank you very much for asking. And when we talk about credentials, the statute, we put this up here because the statute actually called out 2 particular credentials for healthcare and technology. And then they said any other credential that is actually going to improve or benefit the current employer and employee both. So again, the sky's the limit, But again, when I mentioned that it needs to be something that's actually going to be beneficial for the company. Again, yes, I did say we have lots of money, but I also mentioned that we got to be good stewards of that money. We got to be good stewards of thinking about these credentials. I don't want to say you can't have all of your employees. I don't want to say you can't have any of your employees. I'm just saying when you pick employees to gain a credential, I hope that you are investing in them and they also see the investment. So they see that you're acknowledging them, that you see them, that they are going to play a vital part in your work operations after this. So again, when you're choosing the credential and when you're choosing your employees, I just feel that it's very vital to think hard before you put these individuals through these credentials, because you're also, yes, you're getting the money back, but you don't want to just have an employee go through this and be like, yeah, I did it. So again, it's important to really pick and choose the employers that are going to gain something out of it, but also you're going to gain something out of it. When I talked about the application periods, yes, it should have started in July. We had the IRA program started in July, so we chose to start this one in October. But when I mentioned we have 2 application periods left, we have January 1 through January 31st. It is open for 1 month. Then we go through a review month, and then the preliminary award letter is sent out the next month. More than likely in the first week. So you see December up there for the first application period was October. Those letters are going out today, this afternoon, when I'm done with my presentations. They will be going out through Submittable. That is how we communicate through to those employers, and they know that. They have been, like if we have an issue, I will send something in Submittable. If they don't reply back in the day, then I pick up the phone. Again, though most of them have been replying through Submittable, like I said, you get a little reminder in your inbox that you have a Submittable message. So again, Submittable is very nice and it is easy to use. The last application period is April 1 through April 30, and then you will get your preliminary award letter in June. I've had a few people wonder, is the money going to be gone? Because you know what comes after June. That's July, and that's the next fiscal year. And I mentioned, and you saw that we have 6 million behind that 3 million. Is that 6 million going to be able, are you still going to have 3 million for my people? Yes, we still are. That money is there. And when we give out your preliminary award letters, we're going to know how much money is going to be awarded. So then we know that much money is there. So it's not going to be bye-bye. I don't want anybody to be fretting, no losing nails, no, shaking your leg at your desk, like being worried, because I promise you the money's going to be there. You will still have, you and your employees, will have your 12 months to get that credential completed. And then you send your stuff back to me, and then you will have your reimbursement. Now, reimbursement, I will mention, it goes through Office of Administration, because how you set up your MOBIs or movers account, if you choose a paper check or direct deposit, that is how you will get your reimbursement. And we'll talk about that when I show you the application. Again, a reminder that your employees have up to $2,000. And then you as an employer has $30,000. Again, total through the fiscal year. That's very important to remember.
How were your applications from this last October? Did you have a lot of companies utilizing from across the state?
Yes, we did. And since it's new, we had a lot of people thinking that the certificate of completion would have counted. And so when we talked to them before they're getting their preliminary award letter, they knew beforehand that those were not counted. So we gave them an opportunity to send some more in, our different ones. And some of them did, and some of them like, no, we'll just wait until January because I'm not quite for sure. We were really hoping for this. So yeah, we had quite a few come in. We had quite a few that we had were total no-goes. But then again, some of them came back and submitted again, but then some of them are going to wait until January. So it was a good mix. So they were glad that we contacted them, and instead of just waiting to this letter, because they're waiting, most of them got in around the middle of October. So then they didn't hear anything until the middle of November, when I got a chance to, review them. And so they were kind of antsy. And so they were glad to hear. And then we gave them another option. And I was glad too, because at first I was thinking that we were going to be mean and be like, no, it's the cutoff date. But I was glad that we gave them grace. And so they came back. And so I think January is going to be our biggest application period, or maybe April, since it's the very last one. But I know there was several people that we were talking in October or November, and they were like, okay, well, we're going to already submit in January. So January is going to probably be a really big month, which is totally fine. We are excited. And like I said, the 3 million, well, we're down a little bit, but still 3 million, that's quite a bit. And so we're hoping that we can help lots of businesses.
Sarah, is there any difference between a new employer, like a new employer to Missouri? Is there a waiting period or anything like that?
That's a very good question. I don't think so, but let me write that down. A new employer. So meaning that you are new to the state of Missouri?
Right. This is Cindy with Kansas City Area Development Council. So we do corporate attraction. So I was just wondering if there's a process, as a new employer.
So if they need to wait or anything, or?
Right. Like once they get their Missouri ID, are they good to go with this, or?
I believe so, because when a new business comes into Missouri, we're like open arm. We kind of almost drown them with, hey, here's the tax credit, here's this program, here's this, and then it seems like after they're 2 years old, then we kind of like let them go, and it's like, wait, what about helping them through? Like they're still new after 2 years. So I don't think that there is a waiting game, but to be sure, I wrote this down, and I'm going to ask my manager, and because she, like I said, she is super smart and amazing, and I'm going to ask her, because I'm super new to this, but she has a lot of knowledge underneath her hat.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you for the question. That's very good.
Cindy, if you'd like to throw your email address in the chat, we can make sure that we get everyone connected and followed up on email with that answer.
Sure. Thank you.
And here is just a visual, if you are a visual learner like I am, to kind of see it in a calendar, a fiscal calendar year, to see how the application opens, when I review, and then when my manager reviews, and when legal looks at it, and then the next month is when the preliminary award letter is received or sent out. So again, this is just a timeline for the visual learners instead of a table. I mentioned at the very beginning, it is competitive, but again, with the amount of money, this I feel is not really going to be a big issue, but I am going to go through it simply because there are three things, and the three things is the amount the employer contributes towards the cost of credential. For example, if a credential is $1,000 and the employer pays the full $1,000, perfect, awesome. If the employer can only pay $500, great, perfect. That doesn't matter. What they're going to get though is only the $500 reimbursement. It doesn't matter. As long as they pay something, you're good to go. The next thing is wage increase after they gain that credential. If they were receiving $15 an hour, and then after the credential, they're going to make $20 an hour, great. If there is no pay raise, great. I'm telling you, this competitive score is, it's interesting because really you could say have 100% on all the cost, and then you could say 0 for increase of pay, and then your economic distress, again, we're wanting everybody in Missouri to have a chance. But again, we all know, if we look at Missouri, there are different parts of Missouri that are struggling, and there are other parts in the state of Missouri that are booming. So it really cannot hurt you or harm you wherever you are in Missouri, but we are just trying to help those who are in those areas that are struggling, so they will get a higher point system. But again, it's not going to hurt you if you don't get a raise, and it's not going to hurt you if you don't pay the full amount. So even if you are paying a little bit of the cost, great. And if you're not paying any of the cost, then my question would be, why are you applying for the grant? So again, it's one of those things where you're thinking through this. Well, if you're not paying anything, then you're not going to get reimbursed for anything. So we have a competitive scoring, but it really, I have seen companies that pay for all of it, no pay raise, and then they are in a low economic distress, and they rate just fine. And then I've seen that they pay a little bit towards the credential cost, they make a little bit more money, and then they are in a high economic rate, and they score the same. So again, it's no big deal. I did not even have to use this in October. I don't think I'm going to be needing to use it in January, because we have such a large amount of money. So again, I wanted to tell you that, because it is important, and I didn't want to say, well, I didn't want somebody to come back and say she didn't tell us. But again, I wanted to let you guys know that it is there, but it does not hurt or harm. Here are the documents for completing the application. Again, that looks like a big list, but most of those, I almost guarantee you have them sitting next to you, or they're online, or they're in a file folder. You may just have to hop up off your chair and go find it. The thing that you will need to have notarized is the grant agreement. And most businesses are telling me that they have a notary in office, or they're close to a bank. So again, I thought that was going to be an issue, but I have found out that really isn't an issue. And I'm going to stop sharing, because I'm going to show you the application. So hang tight here.
We have about 10 minutes, and I know you have a lot to dive into on apprenticeship.
That's okay. I will share real quick the application. So here again, the application, are you seeing the application? Okay. Again, the name of your business, the name of the person who's completing it, email address, phone number, address. If you're a privately owned company or not-for-profit, if you're owned by a woman, federal identification number, Missouri buys. I was talking about the Missouri buys and movers through Office Administration. That's how you get your reimbursement. You have your website, how many employees you have. These questions are for different, if you've already applied. This is what I wanted to show you, is the credential form. And are you seeing the Excel spreadsheet that I'm seeing? Perfect. Okay, so this is where you're going to give me the employee's first and last name, the name of credential that they're going to get. And when I mentioned to, I think it was Cindy, about the website, I needed to see the website. This is where you're going to give me the website and the relevant authority, just so we can look it up, the cost of the credential, how much the company is contributing, the employee's starting wage, and then after the credential. Down here is where the preliminary award letter table, you'll see how many are going to be approved from your original list. When you get approved, you're going to have a status report, 1, 2, and 3 every 4 months, and you'll need to complete that. So literally that is the application. So when I mentioned it was easy, hopefully you did believe me, and it was true. Any questions on the credential training program? So IRA, the difference between the credential training program and IRA, this is a tax credit. And tax credit is up to $9,000, which is nice. Small businesses are really appreciative of that, and also large businesses. So again, I love the legislators that are thinking about both large and small companies. And each intern is up to $1,500. You can have a max of 6. When you first completed the preliminary application, which was July 1 through November 15th, come January 1, here you fill out the real information. So preliminary was telling us, hey, we're out here, we have interns and apprentice, and then we think we're going to hire so many interns and apprentice. And then come January to February of the next year, you're going to tell us, actually, we had this many, or actually, we didn't end up hiring. So that's why we have 2 different applications. And it is a quick turnaround for IRA, because we want you guys to have that tax credit certificate in your hands to give to your CPA or tax accountant when you do your corporate taxes. So it is a quick turnaround. Here is a visual of the interns. You definitely will need to have a copy of their official transcript.
Sarah, you're still on the Excel sheet of the credential application.
Sorry, I was wondering, it looks like it was on my PowerPoint slides. Thank you. Yep. So let me go back here. This, now do you see the green boxes? Okay, so interns, they have to work for minimum 60 hours per month, the copy, and then 30 credit hours from a Missouri university, private or public university. And the apprentice has to be in that apprenticeship for 1 year, minimum of 2,000 hours. And then here, this is the catcher, the minimum of 144 technical instruction hours in that calendar year, which the credit is going to be claimed. That's the kicker right here. They have to finish that 144 within that tax year that you're claiming. Here is your January through December. You're going to hire interns and apprentice. Here's that application. And then over here, here is the full application. Now, with the tax credit, you have a fee, issuance fee of 2.5%. You can have a max of 6 interns, 6 apprentice, 4 and 2, 2 and 4, 3 and 3. The max is 6. And here is the fee that you have. The application is the same for the credential training program in IRA. These look so familiar. You needed the same things for the credential training program. And then you have Christy, the manager, and then my information at the end. Thank you, Amy, for keeping me on track.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We still have about 4 minutes. And so I know that one of the big questions that we hear quite a lot is we have a lot of interns that are high schoolers in the Platte County area through several innovative secondary high school programs. And so if employers were bringing on these high school interns, is that a connection to this program with OneStart, or is that kind of a separate piece?
So we talked to legal about this because there was, yes, a lot of questions. So they would have to start out as a sophomore or or a junior, but have to be an early junior because they have to be in that apprenticeship for a whole year without any stops. So a school year doesn't go all year. It has a break in that summertime. So if that sophomore starts in, say, September, then the next September they're starting in their junior year, then that next year, when they're a junior, that business can apply for that tax credit, but that person that's now a junior has to start that 144 technical hours again for that tax year. So say they started in 24, then in 25, so September 24, September 25, that was their 1 year. Now in 25, they have to finish their 144 technical hours in the year 25. So again, they'd have to apply during that preliminary application. And then January 1 of 2026 is when they apply for the 25 tax credit. So it is kind of hairy, but it's doable. But you just got to make sure that your paperwork lines up and the dates line up. But yes, high schoolers can, but it's a very tricky process because it has to be that full year without any breaks. And there is a break, there's a summer break. But if that employee or that student stays on through the summer, then we're good to go. But most of the time, they don't because the school stops. So again, but yes, that's a very good question. Thank you, Amy, for bringing that up.
So a high school student as part of an apprentice program is when we need the full year. But our interns have to be enrolled in higher education, Missouri institutions, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, perfect. I think that provides a ton of clarity for all of us in that regard. I do have a question though, for interns at the college level. Some of our students are taking the class and achieving credit hours, and they're doing unpaid internships. Do the unpaid internships qualify the employers for this program?
I believe because they're still, let's see. Doesn't it, they have to be on the payroll?
Okay, so then yes, they would have to be paid.
Yes,
Got it.
Have to be on the payroll, yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Unfortunately, yeah, that was something that we had to go to legal because in the statute, we thought it didn't matter, but we went back to statute and it does say. So yes, thank you. Yep.
Any other questions from the group? All right, well, Sarah, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. We appreciate you sharing your contact information here. And we mentioned earlier, this has been recorded, so we will try to get this out to all those that attended. Hopefully they can share, and you'll have so many applications in January that you won't know what to do with it for all your programs.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Awesome.
Cindy, for your email. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Tina, Jordan, would you have any final thoughts?
No, I just want to thank everybody for being here and appreciate the presentation, Missouri OneStart and our state partners, our true partners of ours, and couldn't do our work without it. So we do appreciate it. I do think this is a wonderful program for employers. So if you are not an employer, but you know some employers in Platte County, please feel free to share the information that we send to you, as well as directing them to our office. We're happy to assist. So I hope everybody has a great day.
Yeah. Thank you all, and hopefully we'll see you all next month.